Now, in business, all of you in business, and let's face it, it's probably getting harder now than it's been for a hell of a long time. But there's really only two things you need to do well in business to succeed. And unfortunately, they're getting harder and harder to do. The first one is gain attention. Obviously, you can have the best products or services, but if no one knows who you are or what you're selling, then you're going to go broke.
This is the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast for entrepreneurs and business owners looking for cool online tools, apps and strategies to make business easy online. My name is Nick Cree and I'm your host. Each episode features a guest expert demystifying the online universe, sharing inspirational ideas and providing tested real-world strategies to help you get the most of what's available online to grow your business today. Don't be a slave to your business, get your business working for you. Subscribe now and get some great content and ideas for you and your business today. Excellent. All right. Well, that brings us to the time in the session there where I'm introducing Andrew Carter from Global Publishing Group. Some of you know Andrew. Some of you, Andrew, will be an unfamiliar face, and he is a best-selling author. And what he's going to be talking to us tonight, he's actually lived it, done it, and he's got some books to prove it. And he's got a great system there for helping people, or helping to simplify how to write a book. Previous life, he's been an airline pilot. He's had a retail store selling aeroplanes, little aeroplanes, not the big ones. His current business here is helping people to publish their stories and position them as authority in the market. So let's put your hands together. Welcome to the screen, Andrew Carter.
Thank you, Nick. Thanks, everyone. Really appreciate it. And look, I'll get straight into it. Obviously, thanks for the introduction, but I'll share the screen and we'll just go straight into the presentation because it'll explain everything as we go. Can everyone see that screen? Thumbs up.
Looking good.
Good. Okay, no worries. So what we're talking about, there's lots of people wanting to explain how to write a book. A lot of people want to take a lot of money off you to write a book. We're going to show you how to do it in just a few hours using AI. No, it is not ChatGPT. I've got to stress that. This is going to be done in your words, your voice, which is important. So let me just cover all the items as we go through. What this is about, I'm going to show you over the course of this webinar exactly how to establish yourself as an expert in your industry. This is incredibly important. How a book can be completed very quickly in your voice with your words in just a few hours. And I'm going to show you the severe limitations of ChatGPT and how that can actually harm your reputation and exactly what AI you should be using instead. Now, I'm going to go through this quickly. We haven't got a whole lot of time. I want to give you as much information as I can. So if you've got any questions, just put them in the chat box and I'll get to them at the end. We'll probably cover the answers as we're going through, but just in case we don't, yep. I'm going to show you how to get your book into the hands of the most number of people. This is the thing that frustrates me the most. There's people out there saying, oh, we'll show you how to write a book in 60 days. And others will say, we'll do it in 30 days. We'll show you how to do it in 14 days. We'll show you how to do it in 7 days. Someone's out there saying they can do it in 48 hours. I'm going to show you how to do it in 3 hours. It's irrelevant. The actual, just making a book itself is not the issue. It's creating a book the right way and positioning yourself. And it's what you do with the back end of that, but you've got to distribute it. You've got to get this into the hands of the most number of people. We'll look at some of the issues and errors as people go along. Becoming a genuine best-selling author. If anyone's got any idea how many books they think you need to sell in Australia to become a best-selling author, stick it in the chat box. I'd be interested to see your answers. What do you think? How many books do you need to sell in Australia to become a best-selling author? Why simply listing on Amazon won't help you. And I'm going to show you the shocking truth behind the Amazon bestseller myth. So someone's already put something in there, 3, 12 plus. Yep, guys, if you're talking about Amazon bestseller, you're quite correct. Amazon bestseller can be achieved with as little as 3 sales. No, a genuine best-selling author in Australia sells over 5,000 books. So we're going to look at that as well. Don't know why the clicker's not working at this stage. Technical issues already. So who am I to give you all this? Nick's already told you I'm the CEO of Global Publishing Group, and our company's been teaching this for the last 15 years. As a percentage of authors published in this country, my company has produced the highest number of genuine best-selling authors who've sold more than 5,000 books. Those who haven't sold 5,000 books have still sold thousands of books. We've been teaching this for over 15 years, and our authors can make tens of thousands of dollars before their books are even printed. We're going to look at the money that can be made from books, but no, in Australia, it's not from the sale of the book. If you're expecting to get rich just by selling your book, it's not going to happen. And look, no one else is teaching what we do. No one else has this knowledge. And so this is why it's become a very frustrating exercise. All of these so-called experts getting out there saying we can do this, they can't. They don't have the experience. And the proof is in the pudding. This was an expo. That's just a small sample of some of the books we've produced. Majority of the ones you can see in front of you on the table there are all genuine best-selling books. So we know what we're talking about. We've got the proof behind us. Common misconceptions or belief. A lot of you have come to this call with a preconceived idea, and some of you may think, well, you don't need your own book. It certainly can't help in business. It definitely does. I'm going to explain all that to you very quickly. But also, it doesn't have to be just business. If you don't currently have a business, but maybe you've got a hobby or some other passion you'd like to monetize, a book, as I will show you, is the best way to help you do that. The biggest problem I come across these days is people have done it. People have done it wrong. They've gone along and done one of these other systems in 60 days, 30 days, whatever, but they're missing so many key elements and they haven't got the book distributed, and that's the big issue. A book would never work in my industry. Well, at the end, I'll give you a rundown of some of the books we've done, the majority of books we've done, and I honestly believe we've done it in every single industry. I can't think of an industry we haven't covered. I mean, we've even covered prosthetic limbs. So it works in every single industry. And as I say, it works in hobbies as well. I don't know enough to complete a book. This is my favorite one because there's a girl called Emily Shea. You can look it up online. Shai, I think is the surname. She was 11 years old when she wrote her first book. 11. Right? A how-to book, so a non-fiction how-to book, which is what I'm here to talk to you about. So I'm saying to you, if an 11-year-old can write a book and make $25,000 in the first print run, I'm telling you, you definitely know enough to complete a book. You do have enough expertise to make one. You don't have to be the expert in your industry. We're going to position you as an expert, as the go-to authority, because you know more than other people, and it's those people you'll be able to attract. This will make a lot more sense when I explain it a bit further. No one reads physical books anymore. Great. This came about between about 2007, 2011. That's when the Kindle ebooks were running away with sales, and everyone was projecting the path, following the trend and saying, well, we'll never look at physical books again. Yeah, unfortunately, in 2011, Kindle just tanked. Yes, we've got lots of tablets. We've got other ways of reading ebooks, but physical books since 2011, year on year, have actually increased in sales in this country. The biggest number was obviously during lockdown, during COVID, but even now in 2024, we're selling more physical books than we ever did pre-COVID. I do not have the time to create a book. Well, you're here for the next 50 minutes. We're going to talk about that. We're going to show you exactly how to do it in less than 3 hours. There's no money to be made from a book. I already said that, not from the sale of the book, but there is tens of thousands to be made up front and hundreds of thousands at the other end. So the major mistakes we see people make is they want to do a compilation book, but not with industry experts. So this is a bit of a scam that's going on at the moment. Someone will get on and say, look, pay me all this money, and all you've got to do is write a chapter and get 10 of your mates to write a chapter, and I'll compile it for you. We'll make it into a book. We'll list it on Amazon. We'll make you an Amazon bestseller. Wow, isn't that great? Quickly, and you can't get the money out of your pocket quick enough. Well, we've already discussed this. If you can become an Amazon bestseller with the sale of just 3 books, what does it really mean? No one's that interested in a compilation book that doesn't have other experts in it. If you do one with other experts, that's really powerful, and that will position you as I'm about to explain. And that's how we've done them. And we've made literally hundreds of thousands of dollars before the book is even printed doing it this way. I can talk about that another time. The other common mistake is they self-publish or only do what's called print on demand. There are severe limitations with both. I'll talk about that at the end. Sell only online, Amazon. So people think if I put a book up on Amazon, I'm an author. Well, no, people actually got to buy your book and read it. It's not enough just to have printed a book. So if you're putting it up on Amazon, that's equivalent of me trying to say to you, I want to be an online influencer, so I'm going to make a video and post it on YouTube. So what? You know, literally millions of people are doing this a day. You get lost in this sea of mediocrity. You become a wash of the millions of other people. That alone is not going to work. As we said, people think that Amazon bestseller title makes them a bestseller. It doesn't. And it's nice for your ego if you get that bestseller stamp, and you'll only carry it for one day because of the way their algorithms work. But you can brag about it. But no one ever says I'm an Amazon bestseller. They say, oh, I'm a bestseller. No, you're not. You've got to get this out into the hands of other people, or you're not going to make the money from it I'm about to show you. And the biggest mistake we see, people do not have any formal way of distributing their book. You've got to be able to get your book onto online platforms. You've got to be able to get into stores, news agents, a whole lot of areas, and we'll talk about how to do that. And just the way this is set up, people, I can't actually see that bottom line. Excuse me for a second. Use ChatGPT solely to create their book. I'm going to show you why that doesn't work. So avoid that at all costs. All right, this is the thing most people don't know. In Australia, 98.3% of all authors published in this country end up selling or actually giving away less than 200 copies. Now, most people aren't aware of this. So everyone just thinks I'm going to write a book and I'll become... No, you won't, because the fact is the majority of those people, more than half of them, about 53%, actually end up selling less than 100 copies. So if you're doing a book the same way everybody else does, you're going to get the same results that everybody else does. So what is it that makes the other 2% so successful? And that's what you've come along here to talk about today. And remember, we're talking about a non-fiction book, and predominantly from a business advantage. What are we going to do to make you stand out? What are we going to do to make you the authority? So we've got to look at what the successful people have done before you. We're talking about Tony Robbins or Russell Brunson or Robert Kiyosaki. When you look at guys like that, what do you think made them the authority? Clearly, they are the go-to authority. So your Bob Proctors and some of the people that Nick's already mentioned on this call. And people think, well, what is it that makes them the authority? I'll tell you right now, the answer is in the word. First, they became an author. Now, people react badly to that. They say, no, not at all. They would have had to do something. They did what they did. They got really good at what they did. They grew their customer base as a result. And after they had all these years of experience, they were then able to write a book. No, go look it up for yourself. These people, and not just overseas, a lot of people in Australia I've spoke to, the most successful ones actually wrote the book first. And because of that, they were perceived as the expert. And because of that, they attracted their following, and then they were able to produce the courses and things they've done. And then it grows on itself. But why take those years to build that when you could just do the book in the first place and build it right from the start, which is exactly what they did. Because when you establish yourself as an expert in your industry, when you're seen as the go-to authority, people will actively pursue you. They're actually looking to purchase your products, services, and advice, and they will pay more for it. And come on, guys, you all know this to be true. You've done it yourself. How many times have you bought cheap and had to buy twice? If you're looking for an answer, if you want something done, you always go to the authority, right? You know you're prepared to pay that bit more to get it done right. Now, in business, all of you in business, and let's face it, it's probably getting harder now than it's been for a hell of a long time. But there's really only two things you need to do well in business to succeed. And unfortunately, they're getting harder and harder to do. The first one is gain attention. Obviously, you can have the best products or services, but if no one knows who you are or what you're selling, then you're going to go broke, okay? And gaining attention now is harder than ever before, especially online and offline, let's be honest. If you just try and post on social media, or if you try and put something up on YouTube, or you just emailing your database, whatever it is you're trying to do, everyone else is doing that. Again, you become lost in that sea of mediocrity. So if you can do something to gain attention, to stand out from your competitors, to a beacon in a lighthouse in the clearing sort of thing. If you can gain attention, what's the single biggest barrier to people doing business with you? Trust. And again, you know this to be true. You've all experienced this yourself. We've all been burnt. None of us want to be so again. So we're reluctant to actually go and do anything with a business. So those, I can see there's a few mature people on this call. If you've been around as long as I have, you'll know back in the old days, we used to talk about in marketing, you needed 7 touch points. You want to give something away for free to grab people's attention. And then you need to touch base with them another 6 times to get them to trust you enough to do a low purchase from you, a low price purchase. And hopefully that's built enough trust that you can then step them up to higher prices. The latest research post-COVID is now telling us that's somewhere between 17 and 21 touch points. Think about how hard that is to keep someone's attention, yet alone reach out to them that many times. The beauty of having a book about you and your business, it does away with all of that. It is literally the best way to gain attention, stand out from your competitors, build massive trust and credibility. I'm telling you now, there is simply nothing else like it. I have been looking at this for a long time. I have found this out firsthand, and that's why I've got involved in this. Why? Well, being an author ranks in the top 10% of professions in terms of prestige. Think about that. This is how people perceive it. This is how people perceive authors. Why? Because being an author, they're highly respected. They always have been. When you're the author of a book, it is automatically assumed that you're an expert in your field. Now, you don't need to state that you're an expert or that you are credible. The book will do that for you. And I find this hilarious because effectively the book acts as a third-party independent advocate of you and your business, stating how good you are. And of course, it's not a third-party advocate. You're the one that created it. But again, it's about perception. This is how people perceive it, and perception is their reality. Now, what I'm talking about here is an actual physical book, printed and published. We've got to make this very, very clear. You can't gain any real credibility with an ebook, and you're not going to get noticed. Now, I'm going to stop here because this tends to upset a lot of people. There is definitely a place for ebooks. I'm not saying there is no place for them. And what we do is we create a physical book, and then we build the ebook off it. But for all the things I'm going to show you, how to get free media and PR, how to get taken seriously, how to stand out from your competitors, you need to have a physical book. And the best example of this I can give you is think about any host show you've ever seen, any morning chat show, evening interview show, or even the panel, like on at not the panel, what is it? I don't know, there's some make-believe news show on Channel 10 at about 7 o'clock. When they're introducing a guest, don't they always say, and here's our next guest, Andrew Carter, author of such and such, and they physically hold the book up to the camera, or they stand the book up on the desk and the camera zooms in on it, okay? Never, ever in the history of talk shows has there ever been, or will there ever be, a host looking down the barrel of the camera going, and here's our next guest, Andrew Carter, author of an ebook. You know, what are they going to show? That doesn't build your credibility, and this is the way people think. I'm not making this stuff up. This is the reality of what you've got to deal with. So it has to be a physical book. As I said, year on year, sales of physical books have actually increased since 2011. And worldwide, studies are now showing that people retain far more reading from physical books than they do from tablets or e-readers. I've always known that the case, but I figured maybe it was just me. Maybe it was a sign of my age. But no, they've done so much research on this now that many top schools that have forced parents to buy e-readers and other tablets are now reverting back to actual textbooks. And it's all to do with the subconscious mind and the way it works with tactile feel and how the mind makes connections. So, yeah, it makes sense to me. Unexpected benefits of being an author. When someone reads your book, you have their complete attention for a couple of hours. Now, I'm not saying all at once. Obviously, they may go and answer the phone or, you know, make a cup of tea, walk the dog, whatever it is they're going to do. But if they finish reading your book, you've had their attention for a couple of hours. And so effectively what you've done is you've spent many hours with that person, one-on-one, building trust and credibility, positioning yourself as the go-to authority or expert, and you've done it all without ever leaving the home, without ever having to pick up the phone and make a cold call, without ever having to go to a network meeting. It really is the best way to leverage your time. So look, regardless of what business you are in, you need a physical book to create your credibility and personal brand awareness. Grab attention and then be seen as the expert, and you use that to drive traffic to your online site. We'll talk more about that. Let's talk about the myths, and this is probably what you're here for, because the very biggest myth about writing a book is it takes a long time to write a book. Whether you're using a quill pen to write War and Peace, or whether you're using a typewriter to type the latest James Bond book, or whether you're using your bloody keyboard on your computer now, it does take a long time to write a book. Well, no, we're going to show you how to do it quickly. So there's a little process here. We need you to think about what information you want to give the reader of your book. Another mistake we see all too often is you just want to tell your story. And I want you to tell your story. Your story is important. Don't just do another business book or another coaching book or another whatever book. You've got to do that, but with your story. People connect to you and your story. Why are you doing this? Why are you sharing this information? What's your experience? What things went right for you? What things went wrong for you? But all too often, people just want to go and tell their story and they're happy they got it out there. Think about what's in it for your reader. That's the whole point. And to know what's in it for your reader, you really need to understand who is your target audience. Who is your ideal client? Who are you actually trying to attract? And if you're already in business, you know who your ideal customer or client is. Unfortunately, you're probably only dealing with a small percentage of those, and you're dealing with too many time wasters. So you can actually craft the book in a way it eliminates the time wasters. But all right, we know who our ideal client is. We know what we're going to tell them. Sorry, we know what we want this to have for them. We know what they want in it for them. And we're going to start with an introduction. That's quite simple, okay? Very concisely, we need to state who we are, what the book's about, and what's in it for the reader. This is what's going to grab their attention and keep them reading. So that's the introduction covered. The conclusion. Far too often, all books I see just stop. We've told you everything we need to tell you. Thank you and good night, or the end, okay? No, we're going to have a call to action. We need these people to do something, whether it's booking a call with you, or go to one of your webinars or seminars, or go online and look at something else, download something else. We're going to have a call to action. We're going to get them to do something, because we've spent all this time one-on-one building this trust and connection, and don't waste it. You know, these are now hot buys. They want what you're doing. So once we know all of that, I now want you just to take out a sheet of loose leaf paper, and I want you to write down on each separate loose leaf paper each step. If to get from the introduction to the conclusion, what steps do you have to take? And actually write those steps down. Now, people say to me, well, how many steps should it be? As many as it needs to be. If you can do it in 4 steps, do it in 4 steps. If it's going to take 14 steps, take 14 steps. But write those steps down. Under those steps, I want you to write down bullet points. I want you to write down what are the bullet points that need to be covered under that title to get through that concept. And more importantly, lead logically into the next concept. Because those step titles you wrote down at the top of the page, they're actually headings. They're headings for each chapter. You've got a chapter heading there. And then under you, you've got bullet points. Now all you need to do is pick up your computer, your tablet, your smartphone, whatever it is, and hit record. And you're actually just going to read out the title that you had there, or the name of the step. Read that out, and then literally start talking to the bullet points. As I said at the start of this presentation, you already know your stuff. And if you don't, if something's missing, if you wrote out a step and thought, oh, bugger, I'm not quite sure what I need to cover in that, you'll have gone and done the research, and then you'll have put that down. So talking is your most natural way of communicating. You've all been doing it since you were 1 or 2 years of age. Just do this, and it is incredibly effective and simple. But here's the trick, and this is what no one else is teaching. You do not want to exceed 150 pages. This is incredibly important. Now, obviously, the size of your book can vary. So people go, well, what's 150 pages? Well, let's talk about the psychology behind it first. We track this stuff worldwide. So I can tell you over the last 4 years, probably 5 years now, we have found that if a book is more than 180 pages, fewer people buy it. And I mean, it's an exponential drop off. It's so few people buy a how-to book we're talking about. Fiction book, of course, we'll go and buy an 800-page fiction book. But for non-fiction how-to, we want the answer. We want to get through it quickly. More than 180 pages, fewer people buy them. More than 150 pages, fewer people finish them. And of course, we need them to finish the book because that's where the call to action is. And when someone finishes your book, they're far more likely to tell others about it, share the book with them, whatever. So 150 pages equates to 30,000 words. That's the important part, people. If you just remember 30,000 words. Now, the average rate of speech is slightly slower than I'm talking now, but I've got a lot to get through. It's about 180 words per minute. So if you talk at your normal rate of speech, you're going to cover 30,000 words in 2 hours and 47 minutes. You quite literally have created the content for a book in under 3 hours. Now, you are obviously going to have to go back and read through it and just tidy it up. You may have paused and ummed and ahed and thought, hang on now, what am I trying to get at here? What am I trying to say next? You may have to eliminate a few of those things. But in literally less than 3 hours, you have created all the content for a book that now just needs to be tidied up. What we need to use is an audio to text transcription app for efficiency, and the one we recommend is otter.ai. So many of you will have heard of this. It came to prominence in 2018 when Zoom took it on as its primary way of doing audio to text transcription. It does it in real time. So any Zoom call you've been on that's been recorded or transcribed, I should say, Otter is running in the background, and literally as I say the words, it is typing that, okay? So you have this on your phone or you have this download on the computer. At the moment, if you want to, there's a free trial. I think you can do about 8,000 words for free. Otherwise, it's $8.33 US a month. So for whatever that works out, let's say that's 12 bucks Aussie. This is an incredible transcription app to have running, and it will literally write your book as you're talking it. And what's important about talking is your voice, your personality, your sense of humor comes through, and that's what the reader connects with. This is what builds that bond of trust and connection. And everyone gets really upset. Oh, no, Andrew, academic text, academic. If I'm going to write a business book, it has to be an academic text. Bullshit, right? We've gone away from that. The way technology has taken us, the way we text, the way we email, the way we do so much communication these days has become very conversational, and that's what people are actually expecting now. That's what people want in books. We don't want heavy academic text, all right? And this is why it's so important to weave your story into any business or coaching or whatever it is type book you're trying to run. Yep. This is Ian Marsh. So I should say my very first book, that's exactly how it was done. I did it with the dictaphone, hence why that young lady was holding a dictaphone. I actually did it whilst parked at traffic lights. Believe it or not, driving around Sydney, I'd stop at a traffic light, hit record, pick up that A4 sheet, read off the title and start reading through the bullet points. And then when the light turned green, I'd drive on to the next traffic light, come to a stop and do it again. And so within a few days, I had all of the content for that book. Back in those days, you had to send it off to get it transcribed. It didn't happen in real time. Ian Marsh, for those of you on here who've got a coaching background, you've probably heard of Ian Marsh. He wrote The Inconvenient Truth About Business Success exactly that way. Not only did he dictate the whole book, he actually dictated the front cover as well, how he wanted that to look. So in less than 4 hours, he had all the content for his book, and it was designed to attract a high-end client. So and sell them into a high price ticket. So speaking to him 2 years ago, he said to me that book that he never typed or wrote, that was produced in less than half a day, that has generated over $600,000 for him. That's the reality of what you can do. So why not use ChatGPT? I'm sure there's a lot of you on this call thinking we can do it this way. We can do it quickly and easily. Let's just type into ChatGPT, write me a business book, write 10-chapter business book for me, go. That doesn't work, people. So let's look at this. AI stands for artificial intelligence. Let's be very clear. It is completely artificial. It is certainly not intelligent. It is not sentient. It can't think for itself. It's an algorithm. It effectively, it is a far more advanced version of predictive text. Remember when predictive text came out and we were all typing in a word and it came up with one and you're getting the shits because that's not what I wanted. It was a really frustrating exercise, okay? That same sort of algorithms have grown, but more importantly, the amount of data sets they've got to rely on is absolutely huge. So it's becoming a lot better and it can do a lot more than just predict the next word. It can predict a whole lot of text for you and create a whole lot of things. So it's not like the science fiction films promised us. Maybe it will be in the future, but it's not now, and it's important to know that as we go through this. The fundamental flaw in AI is it does not distinguish. It can't. So it's accumulated all of this data, of which a large amount of it is contaminated. There's jokes in there. AI doesn't know what a joke is. It doesn't know what fake news is. It doesn't know what conspiracy theories are. It doesn't know what is fact and what isn't. And so what's happening is it's going and grabbing this information and producing it as facts. And here's a classic. There's plenty of diet books out there, okay? You don't want to do just another diet book. So people are putting into ChatGPT, they want a unique diet book. Well, it's looked at everything else that's out there and it can't find anything different. Everything's been done before. What happened is someone was making a joke. Someone has listed on a website, do you know that rocks don't have any saturated fats? Rocks don't have any carbs. Rocks don't have any calories. So if you want to lose weight, just eat rocks. Ha ha ha, we all find that funny, except AI doesn't know the difference. So when someone got it to create this unique diet book, that's what it put in there. If dieting, you should eat rocks. Well, what's that do for your credibility? If depressed, jump off a bridge. Someone wanted to make a sauce thicker or tackier. And so obviously in industrial processes, you mix glue in to do that. So it's told people to do that. Imagine putting that into your bloody, diet book or whatever it is. That's just, what's this leaving you open to from a legal point of view? This is my favorite. It cites a scientific paper saying there's no difference between wearing a backpack or a parachute when jumping out of an aeroplane. You're welcome to try that out for yourself. So look, you can write books with ChatGPT. A lot of people are doing it. I'll show you some of the limitations on that shortly. There's even a book plugin for ChatGPT. And if you've got access to it, please try it and be severely underwhelmed by it. It is not good. So someone on this call has used it. It took him 10 hours to keep doing the prompts and text. And with the information it generated, he could put that back into ChatGPT with more prompts and text. And after 10 hours, he hit enter. And yes, admittedly, it produced a book very quickly then, within 20 minutes or whatever. But the very nature of AI is it is bland and generic and quite often repetitive. And that's what happened with this guy. He sent his book out to his list and a couple of people were quite happy with it. Hey, thank you, fantastic. The majority of people were saying, what the hell's this crap? It's just generic rubbish. It actually ends up hurting your credibility. And that's why I want you to avoid using it at this stage. Don't get me wrong, ChatGPT is an amazing tool. I'm sure Nick has covered it in depth, what you can do with it on these sort of calls. I'm not saying don't use it. I'm saying don't use it for writing a book. With the advent of AI programs like that, Amazon has been inundated with hundreds of new travel books written by algorithms. They've got no human author who's ever visited the country in question. They're written entirely on existing information found on the internet. And that information is usually outdated. It's full of errors, wishy-washy, non-committal language, and they're wildly out of date. I looked at one 2 months ago. It had just come out, and it was about holidaying in Ukraine. It was talking about how the Ukraine is a great place to take your kids, and it's a great holiday destination. Really? Wow. They are ridiculously cheap because no one's had to do anything except put a stupid prompt and a context in and hit enter. So here's the thing. OpenAI, who runs ChatGPT, they've always claimed that the beauty of their algorithms is that nothing could ever be plagiarized. Nothing could ever be copyright. If all of us on this call all were to put in the same prompt and the same text, and get it to write us a 10-chapter book on this particular topic, it's saying that every single one of us would get a book that covered the same information, but so completely differently, there'd never be a copyright issue. I've been teaching this for 2 years. I call BS on it all this time. I've always stated that it's going to take someone with deep pockets to take them to task over it. So it's going to have to be Musk or Bezos or someone like that. No, as of, I think it was only just last month, a not-for-profit organisation has taken them to court over this. So if you're talking your own words into a book, copyright and plagiarism is not an issue. If you're using AI to do it, there's no guarantee. Be aware that AI can detect AI. So people are trying to develop other AI to overcome that, but it's not working, because as soon as someone does actually eventually do that, someone will find a way for AI to oversee that. Universities are certainly set up to detect it, as is Amazon and places like that. So if you get, certainly if you submit any paper, any document, any assignment, anything to you as part of your uni course, the first thing they do is put it through a program which gives them a percentage of how much of it is plagiarized and how much of it is written by AI. And if it beats a very small percentage, they just refuse to accept your paper. And Amazon is going to start listing on their site books that are written by AI are going to be listed written by AI. And because of how bland and generic they are and how wrong those travel books are, you're going to find it doesn't matter that they're cheap. People are going to steer away from them. I've certainly had, my missus bought me one for Christmas. Absolutely atrocious. It was about a celebrity. It kept repeating the same information over and over. And it kept talking about his sister, which is a remarkable, because he's never had a sister. He's got an older brother, but there was no mention of that in there. Yeah, look, Nick's probably covered this in a separate session. Look, prompt and context needs to be done incredibly well. If not, the AI makes assumptions. If you read the small print on ChatGPT, it actually states that if it can't come up with everything it needs to, it will just make stuff up. And by accepting the terms and conditions, you've accepted that. What does that do for your credibility if you were to produce a book like that? As I mentioned before, it takes a long time to set up correctly. A lot of people don't realize it is heavily Americanized. No kidding, it comes out of Silicon Valley. But what if you're writing for a specifically Australian audience? And I have seen a lot of people try and do a lot of marketing specifically for an Australian audience, and they've put that into ChatGPT. And so ChatGPT comes up with this caricature. Any of you have ever watched a movie and you've seen an American trying to do an Aussie accent and talk like an Aussie, and you think, how ridiculous is that? That's what ChatGPT does in writing. Really embarrassing. So I'm just giving you the reasons why you shouldn't do it. I've done a previous webinar for Nick. Go have a look at it, called The Dangers of AI. Be very careful what you put into ChatGPT. If you've got any intellectual property, if you've got anything you don't want your competitors to know about, do not put it into ChatGPT, because it hoovers all that information up. And if people know how to reverse engineer a question, ChatGPT will actually give them your intellectual data. So be very wary of it. Samsung did this, came undone big time. They ban any of their employees from using ChatGPT, as do most of the major banks, and as does Elon Musk now. And as I say, ChatGPT can just make shit up. Just be very careful. So why I've done that is I want to really emphasize the fact that otter.ai, very simple AI, very effective AI. And if you do that, you can create a book or the content for a book in just a few hours without ever having to write or type. And this is powerful stuff. All right. Books don't make any money. Look, that's true. As I said to you, if you're using a traditional publisher and you're just relying on the sales of the book, or if you're trying to put it up on Amazon, you're going to go broke very quickly. If all you want to do is make money off the sale of the book, it's not going to happen. Entrepreneurial publishing allows you to make large amounts of money before your book is even published, and a hell of a lot more once it is. With those compilation books, we're literally producing hundreds of thousands of dollars before the book is even printed. One of the ways we can do it with your book, a normal book, is to sell advertising in your book. Now, I haven't got time to go through this in detail now. We have a script, we have a way of going about this, a way of approaching sponsors, because it's actually not just advertising, it's a personal recommendation from the authority. So it carries a lot more weight than a normal ad. And if people are already advertising in other forms of print media, they might only be getting weeks or months out of that, whereas the shelf life for a book is about 5 years. And believe it or not, on average, a book gets handed around about 9 times. Now, if you're a bibliophile like me, you find that hard to believe, because I have a book, I like it, and I put it on the shelf, and I'll go back and read it another time. I don't hand it around, but we know that universally the average is it does get handed around 9 times. Sharon Jurd, some of you may know Sharon Jurd in the coaching game. She took this on, did this very effectively. So she made about $70,000 on the front end doing this. The best we've seen is 6 figures. We've had people doing into the $100,000 like this. That's not the norm. The norm's in the 20 to 40,000. It's quite easily to get $20 to $40,000 up front before your book is even printed. And that's more than 98% of books will ever make with all the sales they ever do, ever. I mentioned hobbies before. I'm just going to quickly fly through some hobby books here to show that this concept, the way we teach people to do things, the way we teach them to build their back end and the game behind the game, works for anything. So if you're saying, oh, this won't work in my industry, as I said, we've done it for every industry. And look at just some of the hobbies. Sailing to win, dinghies and one design. I don't even know what that is. Music teaching made profitable. So not only is this guy made money by teaching people how to do music, he's now the authority. He's teaching the teachers how to make profit. That's been an incredibly successful book. Winning Horsemanship. This is one of the books we managed to get into the show bag that goes out to all of the big celebrities at the Oscars. That was one of about 4 books we got into that. She's done incredibly well out of that. PTSD. This guy wrote this as a cathartic exercise. He was suicidal, ex-Vietnam vet, had PTSD. Just by completing the book itself, that helped him get through that. And then the book has positioned him as the expert. So he now travels here and overseas. The RSL in particular use him as their ambassador for helping people with PTSD. Lara Arden's a good one. This is a classic example. She was a school teacher who wanted to be a model, and she actually had an agent to help her be a model, and even the agent couldn't get traction for her. So she actually approached a marketing genius and said, look, how do I get noticed? And he said, to be honest, to stand out, you need to write a book. And she said, I want to be a model, not an author. Like, what the hell am I going to write a book about? And this is the secret I'll say to all of you. The book, you want to write about something you're passionate about. Your passion comes through, and then your enthusiasm comes through in your words, right? So she was passionate about surfing. So she's done this book on surfing, lots of pictures of her in there. And of course, that book, because she was a school teacher and she used that book to empower girls and women, so you can imagine how much free media and PR came from that. And she was schools were buying her books, so she sold thousands of books into schools, and the free media and PR elevated her, got her noticed, and that's how she got modeling gigs. And why that's so successful is she ended up getting paid $1 million a year by Channel 9 to do the Little Miss Adventure sequence. So very effective. One thing we need to talk about is your experience. I said at the start, a lot of people say, I don't have enough experience. Rhonda had a child with autism, and she raised him from birth right through to adulthood. And so that's what she wrote about. And she's not an academic. She's never been to university, but the people she gets on stage with have multiple degrees. They usually got 2 PhDs or whatever. So people who understand the academic side of autism, doctors and all the rest of it, they get on stage and they speak, but she speaks at the same level as them because she has actually experienced it, and she's written a book about it, and she's held in the same esteem as them. Same for Susan McTeer Brown. I've seen pictures of her on stage with people like Dr. Phil, Mel Gibson. I don't know why she was talking to him, but the book has positioned her as the go-to authority or expert, even though she's got no medical degree, no background in it. One of the other things I need to talk about is when we're trying to build your credibility, your authority status, one of the best ways to do that is get someone famous to write the foreword for your book. So this is Tracy Stranger, who was on our very first course 15 years ago. And we've got this process, we've got this script to help you get through the gatekeeper and to help get to celebrities. She actually got His Holiness the Dalai Lama to write the foreword for her book. And it's a magnificent forward. And of course, when he was in Australia, she caught up with him and thanked him for doing the forward. And he actually invited her to travel around Australia with him on his tour, and she could sell her books that way, which is exactly what she did. Liz Darnoon used that same script. She did the same thing. So she had 2 children with dyslexia. So she created a business where she had these courses that would help adults and teachers, the parents and teachers of dyslexic children. But she wasn't selling them. She just couldn't sell them. So she used our technique to get Richard Branson to write a forward for her book. Now think about what that would do for you if you had someone like that writing the forward to your book. Now, the point I've got to make here is we're not taking celebrity just for the sake of celebrity, okay? It's got to be a reason to it. So the reason for her doing that was Richard Branson has dyslexia, always has, and has been incredibly successful despite it. So he was the ideal choice for her. And of course, as you can imagine, the sales of her book have just gone astronomical worldwide as a result of having him do the forward. And so therefore, her business has gone astronomical because she's now selling all the courses. Jacqueline Coates, she's amazing. So this is a woman who gave up the corporate world because she wanted to teach art. That was her passion. This book she had written, and she actually had a traditional publisher had accepted it. They said that they would take her on. All she had to do was sign on the dotted line. She understood the game behind the game. She understood the need to sell advertising in it and to be able to sell her own courses. And traditional publishers won't let you do that. So that's when she discovered us and went with us. And of course, as I say, made over $100,000 on the front end, and is making anywhere between about $200,000 and $1 million on the back end running these courses. Why such a variation? Well, it used to be about 7 figures. When COVID came, she couldn't do the in-person courses, so she was only offering the online courses. That's when it dropped down to $200,000 a year. Boo-hoo, we all felt so sorry for her doing it so hard. So a magnificent result, and that's what's capable, what you can achieve with a book. So look, very quickly, wrapping it up, as I say, you come to these things with a preconceived idea. You think that you create this manuscript talking about what you want to talk about. You send it to a publisher. They're just so grateful to have it that they'll quickly turn it into a book, get it off to the distributors. We'll send it to the bookstores. Everyone will make money along the way. The end customer gets it and they're wrapped. That's not how it works at all. But the biggest problem is there's far too many people submitting manuscripts to publishers, right? They'll never be able to handle about 95% of what's sent to them. It just doesn't work. Also, the way traditional publishing works, it takes about 2 years from the time they receive your manuscript to the time they sign off on it and actually finish the book, completed printed book. Yes, the beauty of going through a publisher is you have the distribution, and you do need that. If you want to get your book into the hands of the most number of people, which you do definitely want to do, you need a distributor. You do want to get it into bookstores, news agents, other places like Big W and all the rest of it, as well as online platforms. We currently have access to over 20,000 platforms throughout Australia, which gets it into the hands of far more customers. Get into more customers, they're going to take action, and they're going to work on the back end. Whatever it is that you're selling, other products that we help you deliver or create, that's where ChatGPT can be very good. And the game behind the game is building a business. So you've got multiple income streams coming from your book. What it does is it gets you noticed, and more importantly, I haven't got time to go through the amount of free media and PR. I've got plenty of examples of so many of our authors who've generated massive amounts of media attention on television or in print because of their book. And as you can imagine, that is already driving far more traffic to your current business. So if you currently can't handle far more business than you've got, well, the beauty is you can afford to put your prices up then. And so you can, you're going to make a lot more money that way. But the game behind the game, what we show how to develop the business behind the book, that's where you make the real money. So in a nutshell, how come we've been around for? We've been around for 16 years, but we've only been teaching this for 15 years. How did we come around? Well, traditional publishing has some real strengths to it, but unfortunately the weaknesses are just too much. And then, of course, you've got self-publishing. A lot of people who couldn't get traditionally published, self-published. And these days, the technology is so good that the quality of that stuff's improving all the time. But of course, people don't know what they need to put in a book. And self-publishing, you can't really get distributed. So you've got two good models there. We've taken the strengths of both those models, but we've done away with all of the disadvantages. So we've created something where you're basically creating the work you want the way you want, but being able to generate a whole lot of money as a result of that book. And we're giving you the distribution. We're getting it out there, making it far easier and far more profitable for you. And as I say, we've done this for thousands of people. We have done this in every industry that I can possibly think of. And as I said, as a percentage of authors published in this country, we have generated more best-selling authors, genuine best-selling authors, not Amazon, than anyone else. So the question I have to ask you is, what would it be like to walk into a bookstore and see your book on the bookshelf? What would that do for you? What would that do for your business? More importantly, how would that make you feel? So look, seriously, I think Nick showed us how to raise hands on the thing. Raise your hands if you want to. One, if you've known you always had a book in you. If you know you've got a book in you, raise your hand. One person, two, three, yeah, okay, right. So from what I've shown you today, raise your hand if you realize it's a hell of a lot easier and quicker than you ever realized possible. Yeah, thank you. But one guy's just not going to put his hand up no matter what happens. Someone should check on him, make sure he's still breathing. All right, so well, it really is that simple. And the problem with webinars like this, when people go through it, you'll just sit there afterwards and go, wow, that's incredible. Oh, yeah, that's amazing. Oh, hang on, it worked for all those people. I don't know that I could actually do it. Well, you certainly can, and we're here to help people do it. We're actually running a workshop. Don't tune out just yet. There's a couple of things I need to get through that are going to be very beneficial for you. We run a workshop. It's a 3-day event. We only run it once, sometimes twice a year. And all those authors you've seen, plus many, many more, have come through this. It's on the 6th to the 8th of September in Voco, North Quay, Brisbane. Is it only in Brisbane? Yes, it is. Pre-COVID, we'd have people coming from all around the world for this. Now we still get interstate travellers. This is the quickest and easiest way for me to give you everything, and I do mean everything. Over 3 days, I will give you absolutely everything you need to go out and make this work for yourself, okay? It's not a pitch fest. I'm not going to have a whole lot of people trying to flog you stuff over the event, and it's not me talking solely for 3 days either. It's actually a workshop. I'm going to give you huge volumes of information. I'm going to teach you the psychology behind it. I'm going to show you why we do things so completely differently and why that works. But then we'll work with you in group situations and one-on-one. So where it says seats are strictly limited, that's not a marketing ploy. That is simply because my team, we've got to keep the size limited so that my team can work with you over that 3 days. It is an incredible opportunity. It's a hell of a lot of fun. Nick's been there. I'll get him to tell you what he thought about it afterwards. It is catered. You have to go out and get your own lunch, but we lay on very lavish morning and afternoon teas. A great event. And so the tickets for that are $197. There is an early bird special on at the moment for $97. Gold tickets are $297, and they actually include a 130-page workbook. This book has absolutely everything in it. So you don't bring notepads and fill that out. You fill the notebook, the workbook out, and take that with you, and you'll be able to deliver. What we're going to do is we're going to lock down your title, your subtitle, your cover design. We're going to show you the back cover. We'll actually work with you on the back cover of your book. There's a real psychology to that. If you're trying to sell books, believe it or not, the back cover is the most important. Then we'll help you we'll help you create the skeleton, the interior. Then all you have to do is go home and flesh it out with what we've just shown you. Get on otter.ai and talk through it, but we'll help you demonstrate or create the back end with you. And that's the important bit. You really want this game behind the game. So you want to currently grow the business you're in, but have an additional income streams as well. So look, we are rewarding action takers. We're coming down to the line. We have a limited number of seats left. So from this webinar, what we're doing, you can claim a gold ticket for the general entry price. So what that means is you're going to get the gold ticket, the 130-page workbook, it's almost about $1,500 in bonuses, not for the $297 that's listed, just for $97. Now that's, can someone put up the link for that, please? If you can put that in the chat, and they can just click on that. And what it'll do is it'll take you to a landing page. There's a lot more information there. It'll tell you more about the event, more about me. I understand for some of you this is cold. You haven't come across me before. I've known Nick for a number of years now. We've worked very closely on a lot of things. So it'll tell you that. Now, we haven't set this up. There's nothing on that website to set up this special deal. This is what we're offering you. So what I suggest is if you want to take it up, just click on the general entry ticket. Click on the $97 ticket, purchase that, and then there's an email there. Just email them to say you're on Nick's webinar, and our team will get back to you and automatically upgrade you to gold. So hopefully they put that link in the chat box. And here's the important bit. When you get the gold ticket, your business partner or life partner can come along with you for free, right? Now, this is very important. I swear to God, I am absolutely going to turn the publishing industry on its head when you come to this. And so if you go away realizing that this is the single best marketing tool for you, this is the best lead generator, this is the thing that's going to stand out amongst your competitors, get you noticed, and draw a lot more attention and customers, you'll start to craft your book the correct way. But as I say to you, the majority of people out there don't know the correct way. They know the traditional way. And so if you're starting to do this and your business partner's looking over your shoulder going, oh, no, that won't work. I don't want you to do the cover like that. That's no good. Oh, no, I don't want you to put that inside. That's not how a book is written. If you succumb to their way of doing it, this is not going to work for you. And it's the same with a life partner. They've got your best interest in heart, but they're going to stuff it for you. So we ask you to bring them along so they can get educated as well and actually support what you're doing, not fight you on it. If you do come along to the event, I'm going to throw in my book for free. If you've got the workbook that I mentioned from the event and the Authority Influencer Marketing, those two books alone will cover everything you need to know to be successful in writing a book. As I say, we deliberately keep the room small so that my team can work with you. Great event, VOCO Brisbane CBD, 6th to the 8th, has a satisfaction-based guarantee. I've never seen anyone else do this. This is, you don't have to prove anything. At the end of 3 days, if you walk up to me and go, Andrew, shit, or Andrew, didn't get the value out of that, wasn't happy, whatever, we refund your money. We have no hesitation. I am promised to over-deliver on this, okay? What is it? Under promise, over deliver. I'm over promising that I will over deliver. There you go. Because we've never not had anyone who hasn't been blown away by this event. No one's ever asked for their money back in 15 years. There's your challenge. You could be the first. Give it a go. But so as I say, the workbook, my book, $75 worth of books, $1,000 worth of bonuses, all for just $97. If I can just get you to put the link back in there, Nick, that would be much appreciated. And that's for the How to Write a Bestseller event, 6th to 8th September, VOCO North Quay, Brisbane CBD. Now, please get on and do that. Please have a look at the landing page. As I say, seats are strictly limited and we're selling out fast, so I do ask you to have a look at that. Nick's asked me to do something else as well. And so I'm working with both him and Jenny to create something unique. What we want to do is also invite you along to what has become a Facebook challenge. I didn't know anything about this until Nick and Jenny put me onto it, and they've been assisting me with this. We are actually, before that event, so it'll be next week, in real time, we are going to work through this with you. So we will, on this challenge, I'm going to cover a little bit of what you've seen here already. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to reinforce some of this learning because, hey, let's face it, I've been talking fast and I had to get through a lot. So I'll reinforce some of what's been covered here. Then we're actually going to work with you on your title and your subtitle. So I'm going to show you techniques to get this right, because your title is not what you think it's got to be. It's got to be a succinct one done the correct way to sell in stores or sell online. We're going to actually get you to do your title and your subtitle with coaching from me. We can test it in real time. And then I'm going to show you the technique we've discussed, and I'm going to get you to go away and do one chapter of your book and then come back the second day, and we're going to have more exercises, and we're going to show you a whole lot of other things, how to complete a book quickly, and we're going to even show you how to get past writer's block. So there's a lot happening over, I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday and Thursday of next week. Nick, if you've got the link for that, you could throw that in for these people too. and we can get them on that Facebook challenge, and they can get a bit more exposure to me and the technique and see how quickly this is done. Because once you've done it yourself, once you see how easily this can be done, if you can create a chapter that easily, well, then all you got to do is create another 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 chapters, and you've got a book. So I'll just have a quick look at the chat box there. Is that it? Yep, so there it is. She's put in book writing challenge. Click on that and have a look at that. Guys, I know that was pretty quick. That was all the time I've got. I wish I had more time, but I'm grateful for the time Nick's given me. So I'm just quickly rolling through the questions here. Nick, if you want to call any out. Did Andrew's sound just drop out? God, I hope not. Sorry, Ross, if that's... apologise for that.
That's all right. That was her earbuds, so she got that back on again. So
no worries. All right.
Yeah.
So there's all Nick's links. 5,000 units of books, not having written that many. Nothing quite like holding printed on paper book. I agree. The tactile feel is the big thing, Ross. That's quite correct. The project. Thanks, Kerry. I was going silly trying to think what that show is on Channel 10, and then I wish I'd been reading that when you put it up, Kerry. Thanks for that. All right. So
just one question there from Mark about whether you're going to do that, whether it's going to be available remotely or only in person.
Unfortunately, because it's a workshop, because the team actually need to actively get around with you, people say to me, oh, well, can't we do it in breakout rooms or something like that? Believe it or not, I always knew it wasn't going to work, but we did try it, and it simply doesn't work. There's a pace to this. You've seen how quickly I work. I've got to give you so much information over 3 days, and we do need to workshop with you. You need to workshop with other people in the group. We need to test and measure your concepts, your ideas in real time, and my team need to work with you. And on occasion, it's only ever happened twice, but we get someone who's in such a personal, such a sensitive situation that we actually have team members take them out of the room and work with them. So we don't know what the situation is. No, we certainly don't do it online. And there's far too many distractions. Nick, you've been there. You've been quite involved in it. What did you think about doing it live as opposed to would it work online?
It's definitely more powerful there in person. Online, it's just difficult to get that interaction where, you're getting that discussion. I think the most valuable thing about the workshop itself is that you do get that discussion, interaction with people, and it's the interchange of ideas as people throw in other ideas about your title or your subtitle, and then all of a sudden, bang, you've got it. But online, it's just been very difficult to get that.
Yeah. And Mark, look, I take your point, mate. I appreciate that Nick said, come along. But yeah, if you've got too much on, hey, I get it. Life gets in the way. Look, I'm not making this figure up. What I do is I actually have other authors come in, people who've been through this process. So they'll be there on the Saturday so you can actually talk to them. And the thing that they always say is if they hadn't attended the 3-day workshop, this would have taken them 3 to 5 years. So I get you've got a lot on. I get that it's a travel commitment. But if you're prepared to, what would you give up to save 3 to 5 years? One of our most successful authors who'll definitely be there on the Saturday talking about him and his journey and what it's done for him. He actually has said from stage it saved him 10 years. And then he talked a little bit more and he stopped and he went, no, actually, if I hadn't done the 3-day workshop, I never would have done a book. So I do appreciate you referring a colleague. Thank you very much. But, mate, I'd love to see you there if there's any way for you to do it, only because, as I say, I know it's just sales pitch when I say it, but if you attend this, you'll understand the value of it. You'll understand just how much we're going to give and just how much you'll learn that you'll never have to, as I say, save yourself 3 to 5 years minimum, possibly 10. Thank you, Nick. Thanks, everyone. If there's any other questions, I'm only too happy to answer. Otherwise, Nick,
just one question there that is in chat. What hours are the days in Brisbane?
Yep, good question. So the first day starts at 10 because we allow for interstate travellers. So 10 to 6 on the Friday, 9 to probably 5, possibly even 6 on the Saturday. And Sunday is 9 to, we try and finish up by about 4:30 because, again, interstate travellers need to catch a flight. So we'll definitely have broken the back of it by 4 o'clock. If we go on a little bit more, there's nothing major that they're missing, but it is beneficial to those who stay.
Excellent. All right. Well, hopefully you all got some value out of that. You got a idea about how to put this book together and a bit of a structure with it. That event there, yeah, I've been to it a few times now, so highly recommend it. And there is an opportunity for someone to actually win a ticket to that event. Is that right?
That is correct. Well done, mate. Yes, I didn't think of that. Let's do that. Actually, what make it two. It's
two tickets.
Yeah,
Two
look,
tickets,
this has
right?
been a pretty engaged audience, and you've been very good. I know you get a good receptive audience. I'm happy if you wanted to give 2 tickets away. I'll make the room for 2 people.
Fabulous. All right. So the way we do that is our wheel of names. So don't disappear just yet. We're just going to draw those names out. So we'll bring up on screen wheel of names. Everyone's that is here tonight. All your names are in it. If we happen to draw out the name of a person who's disappeared, well, lucky you, we get to redraw it again. So you're back in the draw. All right, we got the wheel of names there. Oh, actually, I think we've got internet problems over in Philippines. Let's just check that. Hold that thought. All right, I might have to pull it up here. All right, you there, JM, or have you disappeared? All right. All right, just give us one. Oh, you got it there, Lorena? All right, tonight has been the tech issues, so let's
I know that feeling, mate. I know it all too well.
Indeed. All right, I've got it all sort of loaded here. So oh, here we go. It's got the screen up now. Fabulous. All right, well, let's spin the wheel. See how our lucky winner is. So this is for a complimentary ticket, all paid for to the event. And the winner is, Colin Mackey. I know
Well
Colin's
done,
over
Colin. Good on you.
I know Colin's in over in Thailand. Is he here? Let's have a look. No, I think Colin has disappeared.
Is that a redraw then, or what's that?
That is a redraw. Unfortunately, Colin's not here. So let's redraw it. So second spin of the wheel. And lucky winner is Mike Palmer. There you go.
Well done. Congratulations,
So,
Mike.
Free ticket there. So you can make it down from Toowoomba there, Mike. Not too far of a drive, is it?
I can do that. Going to be fantastic.
Thanks.
Fabulous.
Look forward to seeing you, Mike. Good on you.
Excellent. So that's our number one winner there, Mike. And what we'll do is we will connect you with Andrew tomorrow by email, and then get those tickets out to you. And we've got our second draw here. Oh, looks like Mike Palmer's going to win it twice.
Well, that worked out well. Good. I've only had to give up 1 seat. Fantastic.
All right, we're going to spin it again. Okay. And it is Aldwin.
Aldwin's already attended, Nick. So if you want to redraw, she's already been to the 3-day event.
All right. Happy to redraw that, Aldwin.
I'm happy to gift it to someone.
Oh, okay. We could do that as well too. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, I'm happy to gift it. Kerry, would you
Excellent.
like it? Okay,
Say
we'll
again.
give it to
What was
Kerry.
it? Kerry, there we go. So that's very
Thank you
generous.
very much,
Aldwin.
Aldwin.
Yeah, well done,
Thank you.
Aldwin. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And congratulations, Kerry. That worked out well.
Thanks,
Fabulous.
Andrew. Looking forward to
Fabulous.
it then. I couldn't attend earlier in the year. Much appreciate.
Oh,
Great.
fabulous. Excellent.
All
Oh, good news. Oh, thanks, Aldwin. That's very generous of you. So really appreciate that. Excellent.
Yeah,
All right.
well done.
Well, that is our session tonight. Let's give Andrew a huge round of applause for all the information he's shared tonight. Of course, if you want to catch this again, it will be up on the Smash Go YouTube channel tomorrow. If you know someone else that may be interested in it as well, feel free to shoot them through to that YouTube channel, or feel free to share them sort of the link to the sort of 3-day event as well too, or for the Facebook challenge for that matter too.
Yeah.
So welcome to go along to that there as well. What else have we got coming up? Yeah, so we've got the YouTube channel. If you're not a member of the YouTube channel or you haven't subscribed, we'll drop that link into chat, and you can go and subscribe to that. If you want to save the chat, now is a good time to save the chat by clicking those three little dots, either top or bottom of chat. And actually, one other thing too, anyone that is wondering what they should do on Sunday if they're not at church, I am speaking at the New Opportunities Summit, which is an international summit for new opportunities, in fact. So if you want to find out more about that, there, I'm going to be talking about how to create a business leveraging other people's content. So all sorts of interesting ideas in that. So excited to share that there. So if you're worried about creating content, don't worry. I'm going to show you how to do it without creating a ton of content. So that's on the New Opportunity Summit, and there are about 8 speakers for that. So that runs from 8 till 3 on Sunday. So the link's there for you to check it out. So save that chat. All the information's in there. All the cool online tools are there as well too. Next week's session is about SEO. So those who are interested in SEO and some interesting ways of doing that, then that's what next week's about. Alrighty, well, that's it for tonight. Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, everyone, for coming
Thank you.
along.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your attention. Good on you. Thank you, Nick.
See you next week.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast. You can also find me on social media and online. Just search for Business Owners Smashing It Online and Nick Cree, spelled Nikree, all one word. If you like this and want to hear more, subscribe now. Until next time, don't be a slave to your business. Get your business working for you.